When a young person begins their morning, they often carry with them hopes and dreams still waiting to be fulfilled. But when an older person opens their eyes to the morning light, what they long for isn't a great victory, it's peace and the ability to remain in control of the small things that make up a day. Life in our later years is like a slow, low melody, subtle but still shimmering with beauty. At that stage, every movement carries deeper meaning. Every breath, every step is a testimony to a journey that has stretched across decades. And the most beautiful truth is this: even with silver hair, even if our hands tremble, our hearts can still beat with fullness if we know how to preserve the right habits every single day. Happiness and independence. These are the two things that anyone stepping into old age longs to hold on to. No one wants to become a burden, and no one wants to spend their final years in loneliness, forgotten by society or even their own family. But the truth is, holding on to these things doesn't require magic. It comes from daily choices, from small actions, repeated with love and care for oneself. One morning, I met Helen, a woman in her 80s who lives alone in a modest home on the outskirts of California. She cooks her own meals, tends to her garden, and still walks her dog every afternoon. When I asked her for her secret to staying independent at that age, she smiled gently and said, "I do 3 things every day, and they keep me grounded, steady, and clear. 3 things, 3 habits. Nothing fancy, no complicated methods from books, just simple intentional actions she chose to keep as daily rituals. Habits she believes, when practiced consistently, don't just keep her alive, they help her live meaningfully." That answer stayed with me for a long time. Could it be that happiness and independence in old age don't lie in how much money we've saved or how many children we have nearby, but in how we choose to live each day? Is it possible that a morning routine, a small shift in thinking, a single quiet act could help us stand strong against the pull of time? Since then, I've listened to many stories. I've met 90-year-old men who still ride bikes, women who wake up each morning to read poetry or write in their journals, older adults who still garden, stretch, paint, play music, not to show off, but to keep their spirits from gathering dust. They're not just living to wait for their children. They're not simply passing time. They live as if life still stretches long ahead. And in that, I realize something profound. Happiness and independence aren't destinations. They're the result of habits built with self-love and respect for life. Older people are often labeled with words like fragile, dependent, or retired, but the people I met were living proof of the opposite. They were as strong as old trees, roots deep, limbs scarred by storms, but still reaching toward the light each morning because they held on to core values that mattered. Today, I want to walk that path with you, not to teach you something grand, but to help you gently look inward. How are you living each day? How do you treat yourself? What are you doing to make sure you're living fully, not just breathing, but truly alive? Together, we'll explore 3 daily habits that the happiest, most independent older adults practice, not to resist aging, but to welcome it with confidence, peace, and clarity. I'll share each habit with you through real stories, real images, and thoughtful pauses for you to reflect. Because sometimes what keeps us alive isn't just a heartbeat, it's having a reason to rise each morning. And maybe as you listen to the end, you'll find yourself in one of these stories. Maybe you'll smile and think, I can still begin again. Or maybe something simpler. Tomorrow I want to live a little differently. This journey begins today. You don't need to change everything. You don't need a grand revolution in how you age. You just need to take one small step and believe this truth, happiness, and independence don't leave us as long as we don't abandon ourselves. What's remarkable is that the habits that create a happy and independent life in old age aren't flashy or complicated. They don't come from high-tech gadgets or expensive programs. They're rooted in the ordinary, in the warmth of a sunny morning, a heartfelt conversation, or a quiet moment carved out for ourselves in the middle of life's noise. The first habit I want to share is this: Move your body every day with kindness and intention. You might call it walking light exercise or daily movement, but for older adults who live vibrantly and independently, the label isn't what matters. It's the spirit behind the action. Each morning, Helen, the woman I mentioned earlier, never begins her day without a 10-minute walk in her little garden behind the house. She doesn't walk fast. She doesn't wear headphones or count steps with an app. She moves slowly, steadily, breathing deeply, as though she's having a conversation with the earth. This kind of movement is a gentle way to remind yourself, I am still here. I still belong in this world. And what's incredible is that just 15 to 30 minutes of light movement each day can improve circulation, reduce the risk of falling, keep joints flexible, and significantly improve mood and mental clarity. The best part, you don't need a gym, a coach, or fancy gear to get started. Just a comfortable pair of shoes and a time of day you can stick to, preferably morning when the air is fresh. If walking outdoors isn't possible, simply walk around the house, do gentle stretches, or practice standing up and sitting down slowly. What matters is not how much you move, but that you do it consistently, like a loving ritual you offer your body each day. The second habit is this: keep your mind open and always keep learning something, anything. Old age is not the end of learning. In fact, it's the perfect time to finally explore the things you never had time for. Some take up painting, others learn to play an instrument or explore meditation. Some figure out how to use smartphones or even sign up for online classes. The goal isn't to compete with anyone, it's to keep the mind active and engaged. A mind that stops being challenged begins to wither, but one that continues to ask questions and learn new things stays alive and vibrant. Studies have shown that seniors who read, solve puzzles, or learn new skills regularly have a significantly lower risk of developing Alzheimer's or dementia. How can you apply this habit in your daily life? Start by reconnecting with something you've always wanted to try. If you love poetry, read one each day and maybe even write your own. If cooking brings you joy, try a new recipe every week. If you're curious about technology, ask your grandkids to show you how to make a video call or watch a how-to video on YouTube. The key is to stay curious, even if it's only for 15 minutes a day. When you do, you're not just exercising your brain, you're telling yourself, I'm still growing, I'm still discovering. The third habit, and perhaps the most vital, is this: nurture real emotional connection with others. There's a quiet kind of hunger many older people carry. It's the need to be seen, to be heard, to still matter. And this need isn't fulfilled by material gifts. It's fulfilled through presence, through genuine human connection. One elderly man I met thrives simply because of his habit of having morning tea and chatting with his neighbor. Another elderly woman found the strength to battle illness just by talking to her granddaughter once a week. Emotional connection is not just a comfort, it's a powerful medicine. It raises oxytocin levels, lowers stress, improves immunity, and brings meaning to each day. And the beautiful part is, you don't have to wait for others to reach out first. You can be the one who makes the call, sends the message, writes a letter, or smiles and starts a conversation. If in-person connection isn't easy, join an online book club, a meditation group, or a local senior circle. Connection doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it's just a caring glance, a kind word, or a heartfelt, "How are you?" and it's enough to warm an entire day. These three habits, moving your body with love, feeding your mind with learning, and nurturing emotional connection, aren't separate. They're deeply intertwined. When you move, your mind feels clearer. When you learn, you have more to share. When you connect, you find more reasons to care for yourself. Each habit strengthens the others, creating a circle of wholeness and resilience. When you take a step back, you might realize that living happily and independently in your later years doesn't require massive change or dramatic action. It simply requires choosing to live with awareness, to wake up with gratitude, to give yourself time, and to speak kindly to yourself and the world. And if you haven't started these habits yet, that's perfectly okay. Today is always the best day to begin. You don't need to do all three at once. Just start with the one that speaks most to your heart and begin there, one small step at a time. Once we understand the habits that keep us joyful and independent in later life, the next question naturally arises: how do we keep them going? Not just for a few days or weeks, but as an ongoing rhythm that becomes part of who we are. Because let's be honest, it's easy to get inspired for a moment. You watch a video, read a story, hear someone speak, and feel that surge of motivation. You say to yourself, tomorrow I'll start walking, or I'll finally call my sister, or maybe I'll learn to play the piano. But then tomorrow comes and the old routines pull you back. Comfort zones are strong, doubt creeps in, and sometimes the body feels tired. The mind resists, habits slip. That's why true transformation doesn't rely on big efforts, it relies on small, consistent ones. The secret is not willpower, it's structure. It's not about being strong all the time. It's about creating a gentle system that guides you even when your energy fades. Let's return to the very first habit, daily movement. To make this a part of your life, start by choosing a trigger, a moment that already happens every day. For example, after brushing your teeth in the morning, you take a 10-minute walk. Or after finishing your coffee, you do 5 minutes of gentle stretching. Linking a new habit to something familiar gives your brain an anchor. It says, oh, we always do this after that. It becomes automatic. Another helpful strategy: prepare the night before. Lay out your walking shoes and comfortable clothes next to your bed. That way, when you wake up, there's no decision fatigue. You simply get up, put them on, and go. The fewer choices you need to make, the easier it is to act. And if one day you miss it, be gentle with yourself. Don't let one missed day become a reason to stop. Think of it like watering a plant. If you forget, once you don't throw away the pot, you simply water it the next day. The same goes for your habit. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Now, what about feeding your mind every day? This can be even easier to fall away from, especially if you're tired or if learning something new feels intimidating. That's where fun comes in. Make learning a joy, not a chore. Choose topics that excite you. If you love gardening, read about rare plants. If you enjoy cooking, explore new cuisines. If you're spiritual, dive into the teachings of a faith or philosophy you've always been curious about. Even 5 minutes a day adds up. One short article, one short poem, a 10-minute documentary. And if you struggle with memory or focus, jot things down. Keep a small notebook or voice recorder and talk to yourself like an old friend. Today I learned this. Your future self will thank you. And here's a beautiful trick. Teach someone what you've learned. Call a grandchild and say, did you know that jellyfish don't have brains? Or I just learned how to use voice commands on my phone. Teaching is the best way to remember. It also creates connection, which brings us to the third habit, emotional connection. This one is deeply personal. For many, especially those living alone, reaching out can feel awkward or even painful. Maybe someone you love has passed away. Maybe old friendships faded, or maybe you've been hurt before and now you keep your heart guarded. But here's the truth. Connection doesn't have to be big. It doesn't need a party, a crowd, or even a plan. It just needs a beginning, a smile at the grocery store, a short text message, a handwritten card, an email to an old friend, or simply sitting with someone in silence, knowing you're not alone. If you struggle to reach out, try this strategy. Set a weekly connection day. Maybe every Wednesday afternoon, you call one person, just one. Or every Sunday morning, you send one kind message to someone you know. Create a ritual around it, like lighting a candle or playing soft music before you call. Make it sacred. Make it yours. And remember, not every connection will feel deep. That's okay. What matters is showing up. Over time, these small moments weave into something larger, a safety net of love, presence, and belonging. Now there's one more key to making all of this stick: gratitude. It may sound simple, even cliche, but gratitude is the glue that holds these habits together. When you move your body, don't just walk, thank your legs, thank your lungs. When you read a poem or learn a new fact, whisper a quiet thank you for the chance to still be learning. When you speak with someone, hold space for that moment as a gift. Gratitude turns routine into ritual. It transforms repetition into reverence. You can even end each day by asking yourself 3 questions. 1. What did I do for my body today? 2. What did I learn today? 3. Who did I connect with today? If you answer even one of them, you've honored the day. You've kept your spirit alive, and that's something worth celebrating. These habits, once repeated, become identity. You won't need to think about them. You won't have to force yourself. They'll become a natural part of how you live, a reflection of your values, a rhythm that keeps you grounded even when life shifts. And as they take root, something remarkable begins to happen. You stop fearing old age. You stop feeling like time is slipping through your fingers. Instead, you feel like each moment is a drop of light, and you are collecting them day by day into a jar of joy that you carry with you wherever you go. In the final part of this journey, we'll bring everything together. We'll reflect on how these small habits lead to big change, not just in how you live, but how you feel about your place in the world. Because living well in old age is not about holding on to youth. It's about stepping into wisdom with grace and saying, this life is still mine and I'm not done yet. As we arrive at the final part of this journey, take a breath. Let it be slow, full, and meaningful. You've made it here not just through this video, but through your own life. Every scar, every wrinkle, every memory, every quiet triumph, they all brought you to this moment. And that matters. You see, the beauty of old age isn't in trying to hold on to something that's already past. It's in fully embracing what's here now. It's in waking up each day and choosing to live, not by habit, not by fear, but by intention. The habits we've talked about, moving your body with love, feeding your mind with curiosity, and staying emotionally connected, aren't just tools. They're a way of honoring yourself, of saying, my life still has meaning, my time still holds value, I still matter, because you do, you always have. In a world that often worships youth and speed, growing older can feel like drifting into the background. But here's the truth. Those who age with presence, with purpose, and with grace, they don't fade, they radiate, they shine. And you can too. Imagine waking up tomorrow with a sense of quiet confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because you know you're living well, not just existing, but truly living, feeling your feet on the floor, savoring that first sip of tea, smiling at the sky, starting your day with movement, a small moment of learning, and a gentle word to someone you care about. These aren't grand gestures, but strung together they become a life of depth, a life of dignity. You don't need anyone's permission to start. You don't need to be in perfect health. You don't need all the answers. You just need the willingness to say, today I'll try. Just one thing, just one step. And when that becomes your way of being, you'll look around and realize you're not chasing independence anymore. You're living it. You're not hoping for happiness. You're creating it, not from what's outside you, but from what has always lived inside. Let go of the idea that life slows down after 50, 60, 70. In truth, it deepens. And like a tree that grows slower with age, your roots have already stretched wide into this earth. Your branches still rise. You are not less. You are more wise, more aware, more awake. And when the day comes that someone asks you, how do you stay so alive at your age? Maybe you'll smile the way Helen did and say, I do 3 small things every day, and they make all the difference. Let that be your legacy, not just what you did, but how you lived, with kindness, with presence, with courage to begin again, no matter the chapter. So if something in this message spoke to your heart, don't let it end here. Make this the day something shifts. Choose one habit to begin with. Practice it with love. Keep it simple, let it grow, and let it remind you over and over that you still have so much life to live. And if you're watching this and thinking of someone who needs to hear these words, send it to them. Share the light, because sometimes a simple message can be a turning point, a hand reaching out, a door opening. And if you haven't yet, I invite you to join this community. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. Just say, I'm ready if this journey spoke to you, or tell us which habit you're going to begin with. Your words might inspire someone else to take their first step too. Together we can build something beautiful, a space where aging isn't feared, but celebrated, where growing older isn't fading away, but stepping fully into the truth of who we are. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself, for your story, for your next chapter. Now go on live, fully age freely. You are just getting started. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming exciting videos.